Hi everyone, we are here today at the headquarters of Italgas in Turin for the Planet Week, a week that is preparing for the G7 here in Turin that is about climate, energy and environment. Today we are here with the chairman of World Energy Council, Marco Margheri. Thank you, Marco, for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's the World Energy Council Italy.
Thank you. And I have a few questions for you. The first one is, how is the World Energy Council Italy working to promote energy transition?
Well, the energy transition is a collective exercise. It either happens across the board of our societies and regions, or it will not happen. A ton of CO2 emissions has the same harmful impact if it's emitted in Paris, or in Nigeria, or in Indonesia. So we need to create a common understanding, a common canvas where every section of society sees the transition as an opportunity and not only as a threat. This is why the World Energy Council has a very particular role to play. We are an organization that binds together institutions, academia, and the corporate world, and we discuss energy matter with a pragmatic and all of the above approach. So the objective is clear: facilitating an energy transition that leads to decarbonizing our systems. The toolbox needs to be as broad as we can. This is the contribution that we're trying to give directly and with our partners here in Torino, OMEC, the Organization for Mediterranean Energy and Climate, and the Atlantic Council.
Awesome, thank you. And you mentioned some other countries, and we know that you are living and also working in the US. Do you notice some different approach in this energy transition in the US between here in Italy or also in Europe?
Well, there are, I think, several points to take into the account. The first point is that Europe and the United States are systems that are built very differently. Europe is a system that is built on defining regulatory priorities, defining clear regulatory frameworks, and have society and the economies and investors then adapting and steering into that direction. The United States function a bit reverse bound. That is, they are an incredible powerhouse, an incredible ecosystem to develop new technologies, new business models, new ideas. And once they are available to the market, then they regulate. So this is a major difference. I think there is an area of convergence that has come up after the Russian invasion of Ukraine instead. That is an absolute understanding that we need more pragmatism and that we need to combine more and more the energy transition with energy security. And in this respect, I believe that the United States have moved very fast with the Inflation Reduction Act in supporting all sorts of technologies to decarbonize our societies. But the European Union has also reacted. And again, let's never forget, climate change is a global issue, and ultimately the European Union is collectively responsible for a fraction of emissions. So if the United States and the European Union do not work together, we will not be able to trigger global impact. I would say, by closing, I would say that I believe that the G7 here in Torino can be an extraordinary moment in which the US and European G7 members and the European Union, which participates into the G7, really come to the table and start learning from one another. Learning from the US how you remain open for innovation, learning from the European Union how building a predictable and stable framework is essential for our objectives to be pursued and for our economies to follow and our societies to thrive.
Thank you. That was a very detailed answers.
It was too long, I understand.
I would like to lastly ask you another question. That is, what do you think are the roles of energy companies in promoting some sort of innovative projects in this environment?
Well, thank you, Costanza. That's going to be a lengthy answer if I do not manage to summarize well. Now, COP28 really marked a watershed moment in this regard. The history of the climate conversation has been very insulated from the energy world. And I believe that COP28 was the moment in which energy companies, the world of energy, was called back to the table to bring clear solutions. Let me start from the figures. We are still in a position to meet our 2050 goals. That is the objective of keeping global warming at a 1.5 maximum. That is still in reach. What is definitely out of reach is the target that the Paris Agreement gave us for 2030, so a matter of years from now. What does this tell us? This tells us that the idea of realizing the energy transition without energy companies, without their investment capabilities, without their knowledge and competencies, for example, in abating methane emissions, in creating lower carbon legacy energy projects, in diversifying technologies on carbon capture, biofuels, in enhancing low carbon sources like, for example, nuclear, in developing breakthrough technologies such as fusion. Without these competencies, the energy transition will simply not happen. And I believe that COP28 in this respect really reached a landmark result, sometimes overlooked, with the signing of the OGDC, Oil and Gas Decarbonization Charter. Why is that a landmark result? Many of our companies had, by a number of years, clear objectives in line with the Paris Agreement. But those 52 companies that signed in Dubai the Oil and Gas Decarbonization Charter are 52 companies. 60% of them are national oil companies from Nigeria, from Angola, from all over the world. They are companies that did not have the Paris Agreement as the backbone for their strategic reflections. Now they have. And this is a major good news for the climate conversation, I believe.
Thank you so much, Marco. You mentioned some very hard topics and important topics that we have to talk about. It was a pleasure talking to you. This was our last questions. And thanks to you all for listening to us.
Thank you for having me.